The cursor blinked at me from a blank document. 400 pages. 2 years of work. Gone. I clicked through every folder, every backup location on my laptop. Nothing. My manuscript, the one I was supposed to present to Hartwell Publishing in 6 hours, had vanished like it never existed. Looking for something. Dad stood in my doorway, coffee mug in hand, that smirk playing at his lips that meant he'd won something. My novel. Where is it? Of that. He sipped his coffee slowly, savoring the moment. I deleted it last night. Did you know you left your laptop open? Very careless. My chest tightened. You deleted my book. All 400 pages of that fantasy nonsense. Dragons and magic and whatever else you've been wasting your time on. That's 2 years of work. My voice cracked. I have a publisher meeting today. Had, Mom corrected, appearing beside him. Writers are just failed adults playing pretend. It's time you grew up, Naomi. Your sister sells makeup and makes real money, she continued. 60,000 last year. What did your little stories make? Nothing. Because I haven't published yet. This meeting was a waste of time. Dad set down his mug with finality. I saved you the embarrassment. Hartwell Publishing. They probably meet with hundreds of delusional writers. At least now you can focus on getting a real job. My sister Chloe chose that moment to swan in, designer purse swinging. Did you tell her about the opportunity at my company? We need someone to pack orders. Minimum wage, but it's honest work. I have a master's degree in creative writing, which cost us $40,000, Mom sniffed. For what? Said you could sit in your room making up stories like a child. I'm 28 years old. Living in our house, Dad pointed out. Because artists need time to create. He said it in a mocking voice, throwing my own words back at me. Well, time's up. Either get a real job or get out. I stared at them, my family, the people who'd raised me on bedtime stories, who'd bought me my first notebook, who'd once upon a time encouraged my dreams. When had they become these people who saw my passion as a character flaw? The meeting is in 6 hours, I said quietly. This could change everything. Nothing's changing, Mom said firmly. You're going to call them, apologize for wasting their time, and then you're going to fill out applications. Chloe's company is hiring. So is the grocery store. Even McDonald's would be better than this, pretending. They left me sitting there, staring at my empty screen. 2 years, 700 hours of writing, countless revisions, characters I'd lived with, breathed life into, loved like friends. Gone because my father decided I needed a reality check. They had no idea the book was already in print. But they were about to find out what happens when you try to delete a writer's dreams. See, what my parents didn't understand about modern publishing, what they'd never bothered to ask in their crusade to make me normal, was that traditional publishers don't meet with authors who only have digital manuscripts. They meet with authors who already have deals, who've already signed contracts, who've already gone through months of revisions with editors. My meeting today, it wasn't a pitch. It was a launch strategy session. For the book that was already printed, already shipped to warehouses, already listed on Amazon for pre-order. The book I'd sold 6 months ago for a 6-figure advance that I'd never told them about. I pulled out my phone and called my editor, Diane. Naomi, ready for this afternoon? Marketing is so excited, Toe. Small hiccup. My parents deleted my local copy of the manuscript. Silence, then laughter. They what? How very 1990s of them. Good thing we have it backed up in about 17 places, plus the 10,000 physical copies sitting in the warehouse. They don't know about the deal, or the advance, or any of it. Ah, her voice shifted, understanding. One of those families. Well, that explains why you use a P.O. box for correspondence. How do you want to play this? I thought about it, about years of when are you going to grow up, about watching them praise close every sale while dismissing my publications in literary magazines, about the contempt in their voices when they called me a failed adult. I'll be at the meeting, I said, but I might be looking for temporary housing afterward. Honey, with your advance, you can look for permanent housing. See you at 2. I hung up and opened my email. 17 messages from my agent, all various stages of excitement about the upcoming launch. Cover reveals from book bloggers who'd gotten advance copies, interview requests from podcasts, and one particular email that made me smile. Ms. Blake, We're pleased to confirm your book, The Last Dragon Keeper, will be featured in our staff picks display at all Barnes and Noble locations starting next Tuesday. I had 6 hours until the meeting, 6 hours to decide how to handle this. I could tell them now, watch their faces shift from smug satisfaction to shock, make them grovel, apologize, beg to be part of my success. Or, I put on my interview outfit, the one they'd mocked as playing dress-up when I worn it to author events. Packed a bag with essentials, printed out some documents I'd need. Then I went downstairs for breakfast like nothing had happened. There she is, Dad said cheerfully, ready to join the real world. Actually, yes, I poured coffee steady-handed. I've been thinking about what you said. Mom perked up. Oh, you're right, it's time to face reality. I'll go to that interview at Chloe's company. Interview? Chloe laughed. It's not an interview. You just show up and start packing boxes. Even better. When do I start? Are you serious? She looked suspicious. You're giving up the writing thing. Writers are just failed adults, right? And I'm tired of failing. The transformation was instant. Dad clapped me on the shoulder. Mom actually smiled. Chloe started babbling about employee discounts and how I could work my way up to cashier someday. This is wonderful, Mom gushed. I knew you'd see sense eventually. That publisher meeting was just a delusion. I know. I finished my coffee. I should go cancel it in person though. Professional courtesy. Waste of gas. Dad grumbled. It's on the way to Chloe's store. I'll fill out the application after. They were too pleased with their victory to argue. I left with their blessing, Chloe's employee handbook, and a bag containing everything I couldn't replace. The meeting was in downtown Portland, in one of those gorgeous old buildings that screamed literary prestige. Hartwell Publishing occupied the top 3 floors. I'd been here before, for contract signing, for editing sessions, for the surreal moment when they'd handed me a check that could buy my freedom. Naomi, the receptionist, lit up. Love the outfit. Very authoress about town. Thanks, Claire. Is everyone here? Conference room B, they're setting up the display copies now. Display copies of my book, the one Dad thought he'd deleted. I walked into a room full of my book. Stacks of gorgeous hardcovers with the cover I dreamed about, a dragon curled around a crumbling tower, moon rising behind it, my name in bold letters across the bottom. Naomi Blake, not failed adult, not pretend writer, published author. There's our star. Diane rushed over, squeezing my hands. Ready to make you famous. The next 2 hours were a blur of marketing strategies, blog tour schedules, and discussions about the already-in-progress sequel. They showed me the early reviews, starred from Kirkus, glowing from Publishers Weekly. Pre-orders were exceeding expectations. Foreign rights were being negotiated. We're thinking a 30-city tour, the marketing director said. Starting with pals here in Portland, obviously, then Seattle, San Francisco, LA. That sounds perfect. I signed papers, posed with the book, discussed interview talking points. As the meeting wrapped, Diane pulled me aside. So, housing situation. I'll figure it out. I've got the advance money, just need to find. My sister's looking for a roommate. Nice apartment in the Pearl District. Writer friendly, she's a poet. Interested. Seriously. Honey, we take care of our authors, especially ones whose families tried to sabotage them. Send her a text, mention my name. You could probably move in this week. I left the building with a box of my own books, keys to my future in my pocket, and a phone full of messages I hadn't checked. 15 missed calls from Chloe, 20 texts ranging from "Where are you?" to "Mom's going psycho." I drove to Chloe's store and parked outside. Through the window, I could see her at the counter, phone pressed to her ear, gesticulating wildly. I grabbed one of my books and went in. Don't know where she is. She said she was coming here, but she spotted me. Oh my God, where have you been? You're 3 hours late. They gave the position to someone else. That's okay. I set the book on the counter. I had a meeting. You said you were canceling. Her eyes fell on the book. On the dragon. On my name. What is this? My novel. The one Dad deleted. Turns out publishers keep backups. She picked it up with shaking hands, flipped to the copyright page, the dedication, the author bio with my photo. This is real. As real as your makeup sales. More real, actually. This is my dream, printed and bound and about to be sold in every bookstore in America. But how? When? 6 months ago, when you were bragging about your year-end bonus, I was signing a six-figure book deal. While Mom was calling me a failure, I was working with editors. While Dad was plotting to delete my future, it was already printed. Her face cycled through emotions: shock, anger, something that might have been pride before settling on the family default, resentment. You lied to us. I protected myself from you. There's a difference. Mom and Dad are going to. What? Delete it again? It's a little late for that. I pulled out my phone, showed her the Barnes & Noble website. There it was. My book, available for pre-order. $26.99. Though you could probably get the family discount if you asked nicely. She was already texting furiously. I could imagine the family group chat exploding. The accusations, the demands for money, the sudden pivot from contempt to greed. My phone rang. Dad. I answered on speaker. Hi, Dad. You get to your sister's store right now. His voice was deadly quiet. We need to talk about this lying problem of yours. I'm actually at the store, clothes holding my book. Want to see? Book? He was trying to sound dismissive, but I heard the uncertainty. Your little story. My published novel. The one you deleted. The one that's already in stores. The one that paid me enough to move out, live comfortably, and never pack makeup boxes for minimum wage. Silence. That's impossible. Publishers don't. Publishers don't what? Don't publish fantasy. Don't pay advances. Don't work with failed adults who refuse to grow up. I smiled at Chloe, who was photographing every page like evidence. Turns out they do all of those things, especially when the writer is good. If this is some self-published vanity. Hartwell Publishing. One of the big five. Check their website if you don't believe me. I'm featured on the homepage. More silence. I could picture him Googling frantically, face purpling as he found the proof. You've been lying to us for months. You deleted my life's work because you decided I was a failure. Who's the real villain here? We're your parents. We deserve. You deserve exactly what you gave me. Nothing. No support, no belief, no respect. So that's what you get. No advance money, no reflected glory, no bragging rights at church about your successful daughter. You can't. I can. I did. I am. I picked up my book, ran my thumb over my name. You thought you could delete my dreams, but they were already real. Already out there. Already bigger than your small minds could imagine. Get home. Now, we're going to discuss. I'm not coming home. Ever. I have an apartment in the Pearl District and a 30-city book tour starting next week. I have interviews lined up and a sequel to write. I have a life finally, one you can't delete. Naomi. I hung up. Chloe stared at me, still clutching my book. 60,000, she whispered. What? I made 60,000 last year selling makeup. You made? More. Significantly more. And that's just the advance. There's royalties, foreign rights, movie options. Movie? Netflix is interested. I shrugged like it was nothing, though inside I was screaming with joy. My agent's handling it. She looked down at the book again, then back at me. For a moment, I saw something crack in her facade. I used to write. In high school. Poetry. I remember. Mom said it was stupid, said I should focus on things that made money. Mom was wrong. Yeah, she traced the dragon on the cover. Can I buy this? Not the family discount, full price. You want to buy my book. I want to read my sister's book, the real one, not the deleted one. I smiled. Keep that one. I've got a whole box in my car. She hugged it to her chest. They're going to lose their minds. Probably. They'll try to take credit, say they pushed you to succeed. Let them try. I got 2 years of recordings of them calling me a failure. Hard to claim credit when there's evidence. You recorded them? Writers observe everything. We take notes. We remember. And sometimes we write barely disguised versions of our families into our books as the villains. Her eyes widened. Did you? Chapter 12. The Dragon Keeper's family who try to sell her to the dark wizard because they think magic isn't real. Oh my God. They burn her spell books. Sound familiar? Dad's going to sue you. He's welcome to try. Parody is protected. Plus, He'd have to admit he's the neglectful father in the story. In court. On record. She laughed, actually laughed. That's kind of genius. Writers are just failed adults, right? We have nothing but time to plan our revenge. My phone buzzed. A text from the poet roommate. Diane says you need a place. Can you move in tomorrow? Rent's $900/month, utilities included. First chapter of your book made me cry. Good tears. Please say yes. I have to go, I told Chloe. I have an apartment to look at. Wait, she grabbed my arm. What do I tell them? The truth. Their failed daughter just became a published author. Their pretend writer just started a real career. Their disappointment just turned into someone they'll spend the rest of their lives claiming they always believed in. They'll rewrite history. Sega supported you all along. Good thing I'm the writer in the family. I know how to control the narrative. I left her there, holding my book like a shield against the storm that was coming. Drove to my new apartment with a car full of dreams they couldn't delete. Met my new roommate, a purple-haired poet who hugged me and said, anyone whose family tries to delete their art is welcome here. That night, in my new room with my box of books and my laptop full of backed-up dreams, I opened a fresh document, started typing. Chapter 1. The day after her father deleted her book, Lydia Blake became a bestseller. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anger or confrontation. Sometimes it's success they can't delete, dreams they can't steal, a future they can't control. My parents thought they deleted my novel. They'd only deleted my obligation to include them in my success. The book was already in print. Just like my new life. Just like my future. Delete that.